Today we are going to solve the riddle of your life. MMA versus boxing. The key differences and similarities in fight styles. Boxing and mixed martial arts MMA are two of the most popular combat sports in the world, with decades of tradition. Boxing is a much older sport and more accepted around the world. MMA has been rising at a high rate over the last 2 decades. However, many people think that boxing and MMA share many similarities, but this couldn't be further from the truth, as they aren't the same or similar at all. Let's discuss the difference between MMA and boxing. The first difference is fighting styles. Boxing is done with hands and fists, and you are only allowed to hit above the belt. This sport is done in a stand-up style which requires careful 1. Footwork, 2. Hand speed, 3. Head movement. Boxing is a little simpler since it doesn't involve striking with all of your limbs. You are only allowed to use punches, jabs, and uppercuts to knock down your opponent. MMA involves different fighting styles including Kung Fu, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, etc. This sport involves stand-up, clinch, and ground fighting, which makes it closest to a legal street fight. The next difference is fighting rules. Boxing follows the famous Queensberry rules that were instituted back in 1867. In this sport, fighters are only allowed to use their fists, and they cannot attack below the belt. Hitting with your elbows, spinning strikes, and attacks on the back of the head are also strictly forbidden. After getting knocked down, if the boxer is able to get up and recover within a count of 10, he is allowed to continue. In some boxing associations, the 3 knockdown rule is also followed. According to this rule, if a fighter is knocked down 3 times in one round, he is out of the game. MMA has been following unified rules of mixed martial arts. There is number 10 since the start of the 2000s rule when the fighter is prerogative of the referee to stop the fight when he sees fit. There is also a stand-up rule, where the referee can ask the fighters to get up if they are passive during clinch fighting. The third difference is weight classes. Boxing has about 17 weight classes, where the 7 weight classes go below the UFC's lowest division, i.e. 125 pounds. The heavyweight division in boxing has no upper limit, which means a fighter can step up in whatever weight they are comfortable with. In MMA, there are 14 weight classes where the weight difference between each class is about 5 to 20 pounds. The difference between weight classes in MMA is huge, which means MMA fighters have to cut more weight than boxers. There is also an upper weight limit of 265 pounds for the heavyweight division in MMA. The fourth difference is rounds and time limits. A professional boxing fight lasts for about 9 to 12 3-minute rounds. After every round, there is 1-minute break so that fighters can rest and recuperate. This adds up to a total of about 36 minutes of time for each boxing match. On the other hand, in MMA, there are 3 5-minute rounds in each match, both for men and women. So, a typical MMA fight contains an action of about 15 to 25 minutes based on the type of fight. The fifth difference is gloves. Boxing gloves are padded to protect the knuckles of the attacker and opponents from getting serious head or body injuries. The most common glove types used in boxing are as follows: 1. Lace-up gloves size 8 to 16 ounces. 2. Sparring gloves size 4 to 3. Bad gloves size 8 to 16 ounces. 4. Competition gloves size 8 to 12 ounces. In MMA, open finger gloves are used, which allow the fighters to grab their rivals. The reason these gloves are used is that with closed gloves, it is not possible for the fighter to score a takedown. Here are the main types of these gloves. 1. Grappling gloves. 2. Competition gloves for 6s. 3. Sparring gloves 7s. Sixth difference is size and shape of the ring. Most professional boxing rings have a square shape and are 16 by 20 feet with a post at each corner. MMA fights can take place in a steel cage or a ring based on the promotion. The most popular MMA promotion, i.e. UFC, uses an octagon steel cage that has a diameter of 30 feet and walls of about 6 feet height. These are some of the main aspects that make boxing and MMA so different from each other. Both these sports have their own rules, lingo, and fighting gear. If you are into combat sports, then we are sure you will find both these sports equally exciting in their own way.